Another episode of With the Chiefs.
Wait. Man, I need more rest.
I hope I've got your last name right there.
It's a very good pronunciation.
You should know better than that now, Dom.
I know.
All right, welcome back to another episode of With the Chiefs. It's been a little while. Our last episode was back on May the 5th, but excited to be back with a recap of the recent Gold Coast Marathon, which was on the 6th of July. Joining us today, we have two marathon finishers. First up, Delta Running Project's Chris Gatt returns for his 5th appearance on the show.
We're on to 5.
Yeah. Having run an impressive 2:41:29. And then we have Adrian Caputo making his second appearance on the show, who just completed his debut marathon, finishing in a time of 4:57:09. Did I get that right, Adrian?
You did, yeah. Almost double the time of everyone else. Less training.
And of course, we also have Dom Bullock, who did the half marathon, completed a time of 72:44, which was very, very impressive, especially considering he had a bit of a toilet stop, which we'll get into as well. But how far off? That's your PB was 29, Dom? 42:29? Yeah. So would you count that as a PB, all things?
No.
Okay. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so welcome to the show, guys. Obviously you can tell I'm a bit rusty, but anyway. So all right, we'll start with a training update. Maybe just go, well, it's only been 2 days of the week, so maybe we can track back to the weekend or the previous week. Starting with you, Chris, what have you been up to last week? And how's your recovery been after the marathon?
Yeah, recovery has taken a little bit longer than it normally has. I think my legs were pretty sore that first week. I think the most sore that they've ever been after a marathon. So kind of shows that the effort was there. But yeah, I took pretty much that whole first week off. I think I ran half an hour on Thursday, just really, really easy. About the same on Friday, and then again on Sunday. After the week after the marathon last week, ended up doing about 85k, so not too bad. Kind of backloaded the week with a kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday running. Like half a session on Tuesday just to kind of ease the legs back into it. But yeah, this week back into kind of normal structure. I ran 60 minutes yesterday and full session this morning. So body's feeling like it's back, just probably 5 or 10% underdone, I think, at the moment. And that's just a bit of tapering and recovery kind of being 4 or 5 weeks worth. So body's just a little bit below where it was. But yeah, other than that, recovery was okay. The night of Gold Coast Marathon and the next day kind of delayed a few things, but I'm sure we'll get into that a bit later.
Probably delayed by 6 weeks.
But yeah, otherwise been back to normal this week. So look to continue that and keep going.
How long does it normally take to recover, typically for the other marathons?
To be fair, I probably forced it a little bit too much in the previous marathons I've done, and I think that's because I've been overseas for the last couple, so I kind of use it as a bit of sightseeing as well. But yeah, I'm normally back running kind of injury free or pain free within 3 or 4 days. But yeah, I was pretty sore for probably about 8 or 9 days. I was kind of shouldn't say it, but semi-limping for the first couple of runs the week after the marathon, just because yeah, my legs took a bit more of a beating than what I think they normally do. So yeah, normally within the first week I'm feeling like I can jog easy again, but this time around I wasn't. So yeah.
Do you put that down to anything? Or sorry, Dom.
Oh, I was just going to say, what's hurting the worst? Like, is anything in particular?
It was left quad, so I don't really know if that was down to the camber of the road or the fact that I didn't go to the gym for a little bit too long.
I mentioned that, Chris.
Matt doesn't listen, does he?
He does.
Or yeah, the fact that I decided to blow out a shoe at some point. I think
Yeah.
maybe all those things contributed to it, but yeah, left quad was really, really sore. Couldn't put load like downstairs, down hills, up hills, for pretty much the whole week afterwards. I was just gingerly limping on it to keep weight off it, but it's come good in the last kind of week and a half. So yeah, back to normal now.
At what point in the race did the shoe go?
Don't know. I didn't actually notice until I was walking back well after the marathon had actually finished, and I looked at the shoe and realized that there was a big like divot in it, where kind of both the pods sit. They generally sit pretty evenly, and one was considerably lower than the other one. So I don't really feel where it went, but yeah, it could have gone from early. It could have been with a K to go. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Not gonna blame equipment.
Well, I mean, it's pretty fair. The whole pod just exploding.
Yeah.
You could.
But yeah, did get a refund, so we'll take that.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, Nike were pretty good about that, so happy.
Are you going to use it for the same pair of shoes or?
Probably, yeah. I figure if they keep giving me refunds, I'll keep buying them. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Any you got going there?
sorry.
It's a good little scam you've got going there.
Yeah, let's yeah. let's not call it that, but sure.
Oh dear. All right. Well, what was the session today?
It was a pretty chunky one. 3K, 2K, and then 2x1K. Did like a lap jog kind of float in between. I was speaking to Matt Gore before. I got lulled into a false sense of security for the 3K because him, Jono, Matto, Sam Clifford, those boys were all rolling like 325s, and they weren't really
start off deceptively slow.
but they weren't really getting away from us. So there was kind of a bigger group of us, and we just latched onto them for the 3K, and then all of a sudden in the 2K, I don't actually know what they dropped, but they would have been running low threes for the 2K and put half a lap into us basically over the 2K reps. So yeah, that was humbling, but yeah, pretty meaty session. I think ended up working with Sam Glidden for like the 2K and the 2x1Ks. He's looking pretty fit at the moment. So yeah, good session to kind of get some confidence back, I think, and see that the speed's still there. So
Is quite a lot of people back on deck now that did Gold Coast?
yeah, so I think most of the people that did Goldie are back. Matt Ho and Charissa flew back in on Sunday, so he jumped in the session today as well. So good to see them back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much everyone was there today except for maybe you. But
We'll talk about why I wasn't there. But
that's right. I think that's a good reason.
retirement.
Yeah.
Anyway, next person.
Sorry.
How, I guess, Adrian, also you've changed your name to Gazelle
You're
as
welcome.
well. How have you been? What's been happening? How's your post-race recovery? That sort of thing.
Yeah, look, I knew the marathon was going to be humbling, and it certainly was. I mean, you saw me afterwards. I couldn't even walk down a set of stairs. Yeah, look, it took probably up to a week at least before even just walking around in general wasn't like noticeably sore. Yeah, I still have a little bit of pain in my right knee, but that's from a separate incident after the marathon.
What was that incident?
It's too early for that.
Yeah, look, we partied a bit hard that night, didn't we? And there was a particular instrument at the club that I got a bit carried away showing off, and
I think being more specific is probably going to help in this case.
basically I dove at a pole for lols to spin
Okay.
around on, and I hit my knee on the pole.
I've got video if anyone wants it.
It's probably not the
Instruments
best to
way too
show,
open to
but
interpretation.
but otherwise, yeah, no, fine. I haven't been back on the legs just yet because of that, because the knee's still quite bruised. So I've just been using the gym and doing some upper body and core stuff at the moment just to keep strong there. And I'm hoping to do a bit of like light running if the knee holds up okay. So otherwise, yeah, I haven't really trained. I'm kind of letting the body recover as much as possible because I still feel quite fatigued from it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw you obviously were staying in the same apartment, and you were like, yeah, pretty written off, but still a good effort to go out after. And obviously, we'll talk, we'll talk about the race itself and how it unfolded. But you haven't been thinking about, certainly haven't been thinking about going for a jog, or have you thought about getting on the bike or anything?
I wanted to go for a jog, but just with the knee how it is, it's still a bit sore to walk. I've still got a bit of a limp from it, so
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of damage I did, and I'm like, I'd rather not overdo it. So I'm just giving it a bit more time to recover, and then yeah, later this week I'm gonna go out and just do a little sort of easy run and see how I go. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
when are you gonna, when would you get worried if it's still the same?
Oh, look, it is getting better, so I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think there's anything sort of long term going on.
Okay.
I've been trying to do like activation things as well, so it's not like I've been completely off the legs. But just trying to basically assist recovery. I'm using the TENS machine as well, stimulating all the blood flow and all the rest of it. So still trying to, be active in my recovery and everything. It's just, yeah, I'd rather not overdo it, and when I come back, I can just come back and be as consistent as possible.
Yeah, fair
So
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty.
First marathon takes it out of you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like even after the legs, like just the fatigue and the whole body itself, like even a week later, just like I was still so tired. I couldn't sleep enough. It was just, yeah, nothing I've ever
Mm.
experienced before.
And especially like
Yeah.
so much training for it. So
Little dig there.
Well, I was gonna, Dom, I was gonna
Look.
save that for the training block section of the episode.
Look, the training was definitely inconsistent at best, but there's no hiding it. But look,
Did you
I
say
train
non-existent or inconsistent?
no, inconsistent, but even still. No, look, I trained as much as I could. Obviously, the way my work is, working for a week straight with on call at night, like you can never train as effectively as what you want. Um, that you could be literally out for 18 hours at a time all day doing jobs and everything like that, and just have no room for training. And then you're written off for potentially the next day as well. So it is hard to keep consistent. I can't just blame work. A bit of it was motivation and a few niggles and that here and there. So I can't just put the blame on work, but it definitely is a contributing factor to, yeah, to the amount of training I did. Thank you, Dom, for calling that out.
No, we were gonna, don't worry, I was gonna get to that. It's okay. But what about you, Dom? How did actually, before we move on, Chris, do you remember your first marathon, like recovering from your first one? Do you think it was?
Yeah, I could probably go back and find it to be honest. I can't remember what it looked like, but I blew up pretty badly in my first one, as I think most people do. Um, yeah, I reckon I would have been out for 3 or 4 weeks. After that, I was pretty shattered to be honest after it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was what was that, six years ago now. So um, yeah, I mean I'm still blowing up, so at least I'm consistent.
Hey, we're all in the same boat. It's all good. I remember Dom talking about the first marathon he did, and then when I went through it, it was the same sort of thing. Your
Yeah,
legs just don't feel. For me, I think if I remember anything, it was like just they don't feel springy for
yep,
ages, particularly
yep,
out like it doesn't, that sort of springiness doesn't return.
yep,
Because like the DOMs will go, but then how like responsive you are, I feel it just doesn't come back for quite a while.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just feel kind of like flat slash heavy type thing.
yeah,
Kind of like neuromuscular system just needs a complete reboot, and that usually takes 3 or 4 weeks. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Dom, how have you been? What's been happening post half training, and how'd you pull up after the half?
yeah, pulled up pretty well. Got back into training fairly quickly. Got a race coming up this weekend. the Sydney Ultra Marathon's 80K.
Huge.
So the week after Gold Coast was straight into 107K week, and then started tapering a little bit these next 2 weeks. So it was a bit sort of disrupted because I got a bit sick before the half, and then in the lead up to it, I was really second guessing myself again, but just had a crack again. Was feeling a bit better than last year, which is good.
Seems to be
And
a
say
magic.
Gold Coast, that's your ideal when you go
Yeah.
into the taper. You at this point you're hoping you're going to be sick based on your previous
2 from
results.
2.
Yeah, 2 from 2.
Yeah, but Gold Coast it seems to work. Um, but pulled up pretty good. Like got straight back into it and starting to taper again for the next one.
What have you? I guess last time we spoke, I'm not sure if you had because you started being coach. You got a new coach, Mr. Matt Gore. When did you when did you start with Matt?
With Matt, a while ago now. It's probably like May, maybe.
Okay, so we haven't talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, just after.
Just after. Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you found the training so far? It's more geared towards the ultra stuff at the moment, right?
Yeah, kind of. So it's been a kind of a weird block. Like we've been doing threshold sort of stuff, and like all VO2 max kind of stuff, and then also doing big long runs. So it's kind of like half marathon training with a big long run, which is a bit unusual. Like usually you'd kind of lean a bit more into the ultra stuff, but it's been good. It's a lot kind of less intensity than what I was doing previously. I think previously I just got a bit carried away with doing tons of sessions and tons of mileage and not recovering enough. And I probably got a little bit stale doing that for Newcastle. But I think it's good to kind of stress a different stimulus and recover properly from sessions and keep going like that. Because I ran a good time on Gold Coast and it's seems to be working, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. Well, you shaved off pretty much 2.5 minutes essentially, right? Since Newcastle.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think like I felt like I was fitter for Newcastle, but um, maybe I just didn't train right for it, or I think the Newcastle course is probably a bit tougher, and the weather was probably a bit
Weather.
so it was a
Yeah.
bit. But it's still I felt like I was fit for Newcastle, so I'm happy with Gold Coast as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Um, all right. Well, I probably should give you a bit of an update
Yeah, what about
on
you?
myself. After my semi-retirement, I don't know. Feel like I've been doing about I've kind of just been doing about 60 Ks a week at the moment. Pretty up and down. I haven't really I think when I was on the Ballarat recap, I mentioned that I talked a big game saying I was going to do Gold Coast Marathon. And then obviously Chris, after Ballarat, I decided I got swept up in the in
I just came along then.
yeah, I got swept up. I was like,
Getting while we're still on a high.
I was like, that's the first marathon I've run in a long time, which was well paced, felt good. Let's see what I can do in the next however many weeks leading up to Gold Coast. Got swept up in the motivation, signed up, changed my entry to the marathon. The idea was to try and run with Chris. I think 2 weeks later I was like, oh,
It dropped off.
dropped off. And then just didn't really, I wasn't really thinking of once the motivation there dipped, I kind of just accepted that I wasn't really going to train properly for another marathon, so I just kept it pretty casual leading into it. Then ended up deciding that I would pace Bree for her half marathon effort, which worked out well. But in terms of training, just been trying to leading up to it was just trying to do the Delta session and I think a Friday session, but ended up probably needing to still run aerobically. I don't think I can keep up just doing the sessions because they're just starting to get tougher and tougher. But yeah, I raced Sutherland to surf. Chris, you've got some.
Pretty impressively.
I was really happy with it
Great
considering
result.
the training I've been doing, and it was good because it's the first time I've done a bit of a hit out in a while, like around a hard race. Um, and I feel like it's just good. Yeah, it's good to really push it again. Obviously in sessions you don't really go to that level, so I paced it pretty well because I didn't really have too many expectations. The DOMS is quite intense, which just stresses. I don't think I've ever been this sore for because it's 11K race. Yeah, today like even just hobbling around 6 minute Ks really sore, which kind of speaks to the amount of training I've been doing. But yeah, that was a good. You got some experience with that race, Chris, as well, right? How do
Yeah,
you find the course and
I think this is like it's pretty much net downhill for the first 10K. So I think you can really just smash your quads and
yeah,
even chatting to Bree after it and just looking at like the first 3 or 4 Ks, I think it was, and I think the second K's got like 30 or 40 meters of net downhill in it. So,
it's so
so
downhill.
you're kind of hitting it pretty hard, and then it's quite rolling for most of the middle part, I think, and then probably the last from like maybe 8 or 9K through till kind of 10 and a half, you're going down a pretty sharp hill down towards the beach as well. And then you kind of turn left and start heading your way up that headland, and it's uphill for the last 500 meters or 800 meters or whatever it is. So yeah, I think yeah, if your legs aren't ready for that downhill, I think you can smash yourself up, and it's still a hard 11K, like it's like any other race really. So not surprising that you still saw a couple of days after.
Yeah, it was very, very downhill. I think I didn't expect it to be quite as downhill. It was quite fun. Um, but
How'd
yeah, and
you
then what's that?
how'd you pace it?
Um, I don't know. I kind of just went for standard like 10K effort, really, but pushed really hard on the downhill. But I kind of gauged that effort level, and then didn't go too hard. And then when we got to the flats, I just tried to keep that intensity that would feel like that I'm kind of like in threshold zone, but I'm not pushing too hard. And then I think it about like that uphill section, or there's like a bit of maybe like 400 or 500 meters where you're going uphill at about I think between 7 to 8K. I can't remember.
Mm.
Um, I tried to just push until that point, and then I just got to roughly like 9K and decided to like obviously just rinse myself as much as I can. So I pace it pretty well. Normally, I think in Sydney 10, for example, I went out too hard and then you're kind of just backpedaling. I was happy I didn't do that. So I just tried to go by whatever that 10K feel was. But it's hard because I guess you can go a little bit hard on the downhill if you're not careful. Um, and yeah, but it was quite good. I think I just felt it more the next day, the next few days because the quads aren't used to it.
Mm.
But yeah,
Were
have
you,
you done? Sorry, Chris.
I was going to say, were you solo for much of that? Because you were reasonably high up, like in the placings as well.
No, there was there was a pack ahead of like
Yeah.
maybe like 10 people that I was always trying to get onto and some people behind, so it was kind of in no
Mm.
man's land. But then as it flattened out, people started fracturing
Yep.
basically. But yeah, there was always people around, but not like there wasn't a big pack right until the end. It's kind of a
Yep.
bit more sporadic, but
Yep.
it's quite a few people entered, and
Mm.
I think there's some good prize money as well.
Yeah.
So you get some fast people up the front.
Who's the guy that won? Aiden.
Aidan Dodson, he won Sydney 10 as well. He was the one that outkicked everyone at Sydney 10.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember where he's from. Canberra, maybe? Maybe. Yeah, should have done my research on that. But yeah.
So I was, yeah. Don't look at me actually. Have you done that race, Dom? Ever?
No,
Sun the surf? No.
no, never been down that way too much.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, Bree's a local around there, and everyone was talking about the different landmarks and stuff like that, and I was like, "Where are we again?" At the end, he's like, "Like this is Cronulla." Okay, Cronulla. But yeah, anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. But yeah, I think trying to get, I know I said this the last time, but I think I'm just going to try and get a bit more consistency, do a bit more easy running, try and get my mileage up to about 80, 80K, 80 around there, and then hopefully enter Melbourne Marathon because I can still get the time. But I don't think I'm going to go for like a big effort or anything like that. I'll just try and go away for the weekend and have a bit of fun.
What about Bondi to Manly?
I've cancelled that.
Oh.
Just like all my other races. Yeah, I G'd up for Bondi to Manly as well.
Yeah, I'm so keen on that. Oh,
I know. Sorry, Dom. Sorry. That was like your announcement to do Newcastle when we were gonna do Gold Coast.
What do you say? You were disappointed or something?
I was like, oh.
that's right.
No, Newcastle instead of Ballarat.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Anyway.
I can't check Ballarat, so.
It was Ballarat was awesome. I'll do that again for sure. Would you do Ballarat, Chris?
Yeah, I think I actually would like to. I kind of wanted to do it next year, but I also want to try and get myself over to Boston, so they kind of clash a little bit. But
Oh yeah.
I'll do one or the other next year, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about you, Adrian?
Look,
Plans for marathon?
yeah, there's no immediate plans for a marathon, I'll be honest. But look, I think look, we'll get into like how the marathon went, but basically with how I performed in the marathon, I need to do some like a lot of strength, like with the lower back and everything like that. Just with the way it gave way, it was just a bit much for me. So I think I really need to do a lot of specific strength stuff in the gym as well and focus on that before I do another mara. So my next goal actually is to beat my PB for a 10K.
Nice. Thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say high rocks for a second.
Not quite.
What's your PB in the 10? I get 43, 43.
41.24, I think it is,
Sorry.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Where
So
was that?
yeah, oh God. Just gone back a few years ago. I'd have to double
Well, we
check,
did
but that's
Sun
fine.
Run, and that was like 40. No, I
Is
can't
it?
remember.
It's like Sunrun or like Sydney 10 or
Maybe Sydney
something like
Harbour
that.
10.
But
Anyway.
yeah, gone back a few years ago now. But yeah, I'd like to get sub 40 for the 10K. I've got sub 20 for the 5, so I think sub 40 for the 10 will be a good goal for me.
Yeah,
So I'm going to start training for that.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get
Yes.
into the marathon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess before we do, next logical thing to talk about is the training block. So starting with you, Chris, I know you sort of had a little bit of a different approach to last year. Yeah, how did the training block go? Yeah, how'd you find it?
Yeah, I loved it. I think I've been like pretty vocal to kind of anyone I've spoken to about it that yeah, definitely different to what I've done in the past. Probably for the last 3 years, I've done a big mileage focus, doing a lot of Mara pace stuff, doubles, all the kind of the normal Mara training stuff. I think once you kind of get up around that 150, 160K a week, but this one I was probably the most consistent I've ever been through a Mara training block. No real niggles popped up, which was good. I didn't get sick, so you know they're kind of things that obviously help the consistency. But yeah, really the only down week I had over the 12 or 13 weeks that I was kind of targeting the marathon specific stuff was the week of Sydney 10, which was a pretty big taper week leading into that. But then I got straight back into training kind of the week after and carried that through. So I think all in all, it was probably 12 or 13 weeks total at around kind of 120 to 145k a week. Mostly targeting like half and 10k paces. So it was a lot of like Saturday tempo sessions, somewhere between 40 and 70 minutes worth of essentially, half mara pace stuff. Some of the faster stuff was kind of staying on Tuesdays, and then once I got a bit deeper into the block, I started kind of doing some alternate weeks, probably from 6 or 7 weeks out. I think 1 week I would do like a Tuesday, Friday. Friday would be a little bit lighter of a session, but kind of sharper, and then the kind of mara pace stuff on the Sunday, and then the alternate week I would just stick with the Tuesday and then a Saturday session. The long runs built up kind of steadily, I guess, over the block. I think probably they started at 26, 27k, and yeah, there was a couple towards the end that were hitting 40, 41k. So that was good. And then yeah, I really enjoyed the Saturday sessions into like a steadier Sunday long run, which is not something I've done before. So probably for the first month they felt pretty terrible. Most Sundays, just body wasn't used to trying to do 2 hours, 2.5 hours on tired legs. So once that kind of flipped, I just felt really good for the whole block, which is yeah, something I haven't had for a couple of years. So not just with running, but like outside running, I had a lot more energy for a lot of other things, which made it really enjoyable. But yeah, I think I mean, I spoke to Mitch about it. Mitch has kind of been the one that's been putting the plan together for me, to be honest, since like November last year. And yeah, the way that I was feeling, I was fully trusting in what he was doing, and that's again something I haven't had from previous coaches that I've had. And yeah, just felt the best. I think I've said it a couple of times, but felt like I could have genuinely run a PB across pretty much any distance, obviously besides the Mara. But yeah, to be honest, felt like any other week other than Gold Coast, I could have run a PB across every distance. So that gave me a lot of confidence, which yeah, given the way the last couple of years have gone, where I kind of feel like I've been a little bit stagnant, I guess. Yeah, it was a good feeling. So yeah, looking to continue that. He's already put together kind of the next few months, even though I've thrown a little bit of chaos into that. But we can go into that later. But yeah, looking forward to kind of continue that, because yeah, just feeling good with where the running's at the moment. So
what do you think? What were a few factors you think played into you feeling good through the block? Is there anything? Yeah, what do you think?
Probably a couple of the big things, and I spent a lot of time after Gold Coast writing down my kind of thoughts. I think one of the big things was just not doing stupid stuff. I'm normally pretty susceptible to jumping in and out of other people's sessions on days where I'm not sessioning, even though they may not be at full session effort. They might be at 70 or 80%, and I think that's just led to a lot of fatigue in the past, leads to niggles and stuff like that, which obviously leads to inconsistency. So I think, for the most part, I stuck to the plan. There's probably a couple of rogue things that I did. There was a 800-meter race and some other things, but yeah, I think for the most part, sticking to the plan and just making sure that I wasn't just going over the edge on intensity throughout the week and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, I mean, that was probably the main thing. I think nutrition seemed to go pretty well through the block. I was, eating well, eating regularly, sleeping a lot better than what I would normally do. So, for the most part, so yeah, I think those things all kind of contributed to it. But probably the other thing I changed as well was and it was part of the training as well, but my MLRs kind of switched to a Thursday. So I was doing a lot of those solo, which I think actually got me into a better headspace. Whereas before I've kind of relied maybe a little bit too heavily on running with other people and kind of tying a bit of discipline into what other people are doing. And if they weren't there or not running, then I'd have a little bit less motivation to get up early and stick to the runs and stuff like that. So just getting into that routine pretty early on in the training block turned actually, I ended up really enjoying those runs, and not that I hate running with people, but
I was going to say,
you know,
is that cleared your head
it's good, it's
after
good, it's good,
listening
it's
to
good.
all of our shit chat?
It's coming back again, but yeah, like I genuinely, if the Thursday MLRs turned from 90 minutes into 2 hours, and we're nice and peaceful, to be honest, running around like Mossman and like Chowder Bay and stuff like that, just rolling up and down hills, which I think built a little bit of strength as well, and it kind of gave me a bit of freedom to run them a bit faster than what I've normally done in the past too. So I think that built some like aerobic capacity, which made most of the running that I was doing feel pretty easy, to be honest. So yeah, I think they're all things that I'll take and try and continue doing moving forward. But I don't think, looking back at the training block, I don't think I would change anything really. I loved pretty much all of it. So.
And for you, what are the big indicators of fitness? You just feel it in the sessions? Are you tracking paces? And also,
Yeah. It was like a lot of the Saturday sessions, I think there was a bit of repetition, which I kind of like in a training block. So I was kind of doing a same or similar session, whether it was maybe a little bit longer or a little bit shorter rest, but the same kind of distance reps. And I think that's kind of good. I mean, from a perspective of if you're improving in them. So if you do the same session, once every 4 weeks or something, and you see either an improvement in pace or an improvement in like perceived effort, I think they're really good for confidence. And yeah, I did, I think 3 or 4 times like a 16K tempo, and I kind of went from 347s down to, I think the last one was at like 331s, and they in terms of effort, they all felt actually the 331s actually felt the easiest by the end of it. So that was a big indicator, and for me that's my half marathon PB pace for 16K. So I know I was in at least over half distance the best shape that I've ever been in. So doing those, just feeling aerobically comfortable makes running a lot happier. I think, like even running with other people, you can kind of do a lot more of the social stuff without feeling fatigued and tired all the time. So that was the best part of it.
And do you think your fatigue levels were less as well, just by cutting out a bit of, because obviously you said before you've done like 150, 160 Ks in the past, if not more. Do you see that as not irrelevant, but something you wouldn't carry forward in a different block? Like you're happier at that 120, 110?
Yeah, I think like the 120 is definitely more sustainable. Like, adding another 40 Ks a week is 3 hours worth of running. So I think that definitely takes its toll. Allowed me to focus on sleep a little bit more. As I said, not doing the doubles did it maybe detriment a little bit of the muscular strength of that back end of the marathon, maybe, but I would much rather swap that out for not trying to fall asleep wherever I am. So that was a positive.
I guess that's probably a big reason why you look back on it a bit more fondly than just being in that heavy fatigue mode.
Yeah, and I think like given where I was kind of through January to March, where I wasn't running, didn't feel like I was running well. Sessions felt hard. I did a few 5Ks over that time, and I essentially got slower every 5K. So that was a little bit frustrating. And then to kind of pick up off the back of that and feel like I was getting stronger and fitter and more confident was nice. So that part of it I loved. Just the 2 hours and 40 odd minutes on race day was not what I wanted, but
it's okay. All right. Well, Mr. Adrian, how did your training block go? But firstly, maybe tell us why you wanted to sign up for the marathon as well, because I know, just curious because it's your first one, what the rationale was.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. There was something that really, really annoyed me about not having run a marathon yet, and that was looking at the little like badges or achievements on Runkeeper, which was the app that we used to use back in the day.
You still use Runkeeper?
No, I have it on my phone, but I don't use it. Strava's my primary one, but it syncs onto Runkeeper.
Okay.
And I happened to be on it. It's going back about a year, or yeah, just over a year ago, and I was on the app, just looking at my stats, and then I just see like, 42 Ks for the Mara, like not yet, like for a time. And frankly, it pissed me off. And I was like, nah, this has got to change. So,
Good old
yeah,
run
so
keeper.
yeah, going back just a few years. We used to use that when we first started running, way back in the day when we were carrying phones and that with us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking of Map My Run as well. That's different.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I still kept it just because it's got like good stats and stuff on it from when I first started running. Um, and yeah, so yeah, because it annoyed me, I was like, nah, this has got to change. I've got to do a Mara. At least if I only ever do one, at least I've done one. Um, so that was my motivation to do one. Um, in answer to your second question, I can't really say I had a training block. To say that I had a block would mean there was structure and I had no structure, if I'm being honest. Yeah, one thing that kind of frustrated me through, like, so once I decided I was signing up, which was about a year before the Gold Coast, Mara was, I injured my knee at work, and I basically had like a grade 2 tear of my medial cruciate ligament. So basically, had yeah, almost completely torn one of the ligaments in my knee. Um, so yeah, initially I was barely able to weight bear on it, let alone do any form of running. Um, and so that took probably about 3 months to be able to sort of run pain-free on it at any form of intensity. Um, and kind of something that frustrated me throughout was that even though I was doing a lot of strength in the gym and that every time I'd try to increase my load with running, it just started to become more sore. And it was like, two step forward, one step back type thing. Um, so my motivation was definitely dipping quite a few points throughout, and I really tried to stay motivated. Um, so yeah, there were definitely points where like a week or two would go by, and I haven't done as much running or as much training just because of getting frustrated at the fact that my knee's not tolerating it. Um, but I'd already well said to myself that whether I've done absolutely no training, some training, or really good training, I'm doing this marathon regardless. So,
I think you
um,
burnt that bridge when you signed up.
yeah, well and truly. So,
And knowing you
um,
kind of
yeah, I'm very
don't change
stubborn.
your mind.
Nah. God, you put that nicely. Yes.
It's public facing. I kind of
Yes.
have to.
That's so very different when the camera's on. So yeah, no, look, yeah, I am known to be stubborn, which sometimes is good for me and sometimes can be detrimental. But for this time, I think it was good. I think my stubbornness to want to do it really kept me at least some form of motivated to continue training all the way through, even if it was quite inconsistent. Um, so I think, I mean, which is, no big feat by any means, but I think like the biggest sort of kilometers per week was, I don't know, up to like 20 or 30 Ks. It was nothing crazy, but for what my knee could tolerate, I was actually quite happy with that. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, there was no real sort of taper because I hadn't done enough running to kind of warrant a taper. But I did try to really focus on like sleep and strength and like relaxing my legs for like a lot for the week prior to the Mara. So I just did like an easy run or two during that week just to really make sure the legs kind of ticked over but weren't fatigued. Um, and yeah, just really focusing on just making sure they're as relaxed as possible, getting ready for the Mara. So um, yeah, so I know it's a lot less structured than what a lot of you runners usually do. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my training sort of pre-Mara sort of summed up.
Did you do, because I know you did a half marathon in the lead up.
Yeah.
How did that go and
Hmm.
how did that leave you feeling for Gold Coast?
Yeah, so yeah, I ran a half mara with my brother's girlfriend. She wanted me to kind of pace her, which I thought was a bit strange to begin with, given my training, but I also wanted to use it as training for myself as well. Um, Truthfully, I actually felt very confident post that half mara for the marathon. Whilst the pace was a bit slower than what I was aiming for in the marathon. I felt quite strong and like I didn't really feel fatigued afterwards. I didn't really have many like much DOMs or anything like that. Um, so I actually felt really, really good. Um, which yeah, kind of threw me when I got to the Mara, which I know we'll get into after. But um, yeah, no, I felt really good with the half marathon, and I thought it was a good cardio build up for getting ready for the marathon.
Yeah, fair. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we should get into recapping the race itself. So I guess starting with you, Chris, the race, how did you feel on the taper? How was this taper compared to
Pretty.
previous ones? And yeah, did you do a carb load? What was that leading up to a few days before or the week before?
Yeah, taper. I think felt actually pretty good this time around. I think it's always a bit weird when you've got obviously a week of work to get through, and then you kind of just focused on that, and it doesn't really feel like it's coming around until you're done with work for the week, and especially going away up to Gold Coast. Once you're up there, then it kind of starts to settle itself down. But yeah, taper week went okay. I don't think I particularly felt any worse than I normally do, if not maybe a little bit better than what I normally do. Um, Carb loads, I generally don't add too much. Generally, I find with like kind of the week or two actual taper, I generally eat the same amount that I'm eating on a normal day anyway. So there's extra carbs going in through that, and then I kind of just top up with like the drink mixes and gels and some kind of pretty quick sugars and some extra bits of rice and stuff. But I'm not really, sitting down and eating massive bowls of pasta and things like that. Because I've done it in the past, and I get to race day and just feel bloated and stomach's churning and stuff like that. So yeah, I've just found like a more supplementary carb load, I guess, works well for me. And yeah, so I went with that. The main thing for me is I noticed once I got to Gold Coast, I don't know if it was because I was running like later in the day, but my heart rate was really, really high on the easy runs. So I was doing like 30-minute shakeouts, and my heart rate would be 160, 165, which is much higher than what it normally is. And I was only running like 5 minute 30 Ks. So yeah, that was a bit concerning, but otherwise, yeah, no issues that kind of stood out. I think compared to other marathons in the past, I think it's all been pretty in line or pretty similar with how I felt this time around. So sleep is a big thing for me. I think I've spoken about it a few times, but um, I may have taken a couple of sleeping tablets just to try and help myself have a couple of good nights sleep up there. But first night was fine. I think I got up there on the Thursday. Thursday was really good. And then the Friday night didn't sleep particularly well, like going into Saturday. So that is, what it is. Got up and watched everyone go around at the half, which was really, really cool. So got back out on the line bikes. One of my favorite pastimes. So that part was fun. It was really, really cool to see. I think the best part about the Gold Coast weekend is that they split those races up, so you can have, most people are up there for the whole weekend kind of thing. So you get people that are doing the marathon, not just people that but heaps of other people as well, getting out there for the half and the 10 and stuff on the Saturday, and it just creates a really, really good atmosphere. And then obviously you get the same kind of switched for the Sunday, which yeah, just makes it so much better. I think all the other races that have everything on the same day, you kind of lose a little bit of that. But yeah, Gold Coast, I mean, always does a really good job of getting around it, and you get the people in the apartment buildings and coming out of their houses and stuff like that on the street, and it's a pretty much out and back course, so it just makes it really accessible for everyone, which is cool. But yeah, some cracking runs. Obviously, watching Dom, charging down. Didn't realize he'd been to the toilet at that time, but but yeah, that was really cool. yeah, seeing, a lot of the other people that we know, yeah, all pretty much running pretty well, or even if they weren't, they were still putting their heads down and keeping going. So that took a lot from that, I think, going into the Sunday. Sunday, I can't really remember how I slept on Saturday night. I think it was pretty standard 4 or 5 hours sleep, but yeah, it is what it is. Woke up Sunday, did my normal breakfast and stuff like that. Bought the line bike again down to the start line. And then, yeah, I mean, there was a few of us, I think, like Nick Zenos, a couple of other guys from the group that we all kind of semi spoke about, running together as much as we could, and yeah, either trying to work together or at least be within sight of each other. And I kind of said to Nick before the start that, we'll take the first K a little bit more chilled. I think the thing I find with those big races is you stand still for so long before the start that a warm up doesn't really matter. You kind of need to ease your way into it, and we didn't do that, so we were pretty much on pace from the start for like the 2:35 target, and then that was pretty much it, and we just tried to hang on to that for as long as possible. But like I noticed Nick breathing pretty heavily from like 2K in. I kind of noticed I was sweating pretty heavily from really early on. So at that point, you're like, oh, this could be a long day. And you kind of had that opportunity to make a decision to either back it off a little bit and make sure you can get to pretty deep into the marathon before things start to fall apart, or just stay with it and keep telling yourself that it's okay. So we kind of decided to go with the latter one, and got a decent way in, but I guess the standard way in, when you kind of go out at a pace that's maybe a little bit too hot and getting to a point where you feel okay. But yeah, the race, I think, otherwise played out almost to plan, I think. Pace wise, yeah, we were really good. I think I can't really remember when Nick dropped off, but probably around 17 or 18K. And then there was just a pack of maybe like 5 or 6 of us. And there was one guy, I don't know if he was Japanese or something, but he was loving the crowd. He was just throwing the arms up and yelling out to people and pointing at people, telling them to like make more noise, and that was pretty cool to be around. So you kind of get a little bit carried away with that and kind of join in with him. But and then obviously having, I was pretty lucky to have you and Bree, towards the end of the race, Anna and Simon, and then Georgie and Jess. I know she had some issues with some parking, but having all you guys out on course like every 7K or whatever it was, it just gives you a really good opportunity to like break it down, 7Ks, just get to the next 7Ks, smile, wave. And there were so many people that, not just from Delta, but from like other groups that either know you or just see the club and recognize the club, and they're kind of cheering. And that's like the best part of the marathon. You get a massive boost when you go through those spots. So tried to take as much of that in as possible. I think by like halfway, I kind of knew that I was in kind of survival mode at that point, trying to just break it down, into 3 or 4K blocks instead of 7K blocks, just to keep myself motivated. Yeah, ran past another guy from Delta that someone had stepped on his Alpha Fly, and the thing had kind of sheared clean in half, and he had the foam in his left hand, the upper in his right hand, just walking, and he was in the lead up. I think he was targeting like 240, and he was well in front of me at halfway, so he would have been on track for like 232, 233 probably at that point. And yeah, so he was walking, and that was pretty shattering to see. And there's nothing you can do about that. Like that's just the bad luck of the day. And then, sorry.
I hope he got a refund.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well, I think he got him off. Someone, I think Josh Mackerel was saying he got him off like StockX or something. So I don't know if you can get it, because they were the Alpha Flight ones. So
he probably paid like $700 as well.
Yeah. So I don't actually know if you can get it anyway. It's a rough way to go, but yeah, that's the way the day goes. I think I think I went past, Georgie and Jess. They were at like 22K. And yeah, I was kind of struggling at that point already. I was trying to just get myself to 30K, and then I went past Anna and Simon at like 28, and I was kind of starting to fall off there, off the pace. I think I dropped back like 5 or 10 seconds a K already, and it was just a bit of damage control from there, but it just got more and more slippery.
This is sounding familiar, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at it now. So,
No, as in,
from your spot
that was
last
my
year.
race. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, that sounded really offensive.
To be honest, I reckon it was exactly the same spot.
Yeah, around that 28K, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like where you kind of come out from around the buildings, hit the water just before you go over the bridge, and I was kind of yo-yoing with. There was like two ladies. I think they were like. I think one of them ended up being the top Queenslander, and then the other one kind of won the Australian maybe second in the Australian Championships or something. So they were like, I think sixth and seventh female, and there was those two. One of the ladies had her own pacer. Don't know if that's allowed. And like a couple of other guys. So I was kind of just trying to hang on to them for as long as possible. But I think once we got to that little bit of an incline that goes over the bridge kind of as you go past the start finish line, it the wheels really fell off there, and I was kind of just, I mean, in hindsight, like I'm still running decently quickly, but it feels terrible at that point. Your legs feel heavy, you can't pick them up. You kind of just head down and just moving. So that's what the race was. But yeah, then having you, Luke, and Bree, and a few other people kind of in that last stretch. I mean, you ran with me for a K or two at that point, and that
I
pretty
ruined
much
a few of your photos. Sorry.
That's right. There's a couple of videos of Luke trying to duck off to the side.
Yeah, like oh shit, another photographer.
Which I think I did for you last year. So yeah, we've reversed that role. But like that, as I said, like that got me through, and yeah, that's as much as I can ask at that point. And then having a couple of the other guys having some really good runs, end up coming past pretty close towards the end. And again, I know I've said it, but Shane Wood basically literally dragged me over the line.
Yeah, that
so
was nice. That was
he came up beside me with like a K to go. Not going too much faster, but fast enough. And yeah, he basically told me to hang on to him, and at that point I felt like I could. And then every time I start to drop off, he'd kind of adjust his pace back to me and just keep me beside him. And then we kind of turned the corner into the corral, and then he started to kick a little bit, and I tried to go with him, and then kind of said that I couldn't, and he like literally just grabbed my hand, and we kind of ran halfway down the chute, like hand in hand, which I don't think I've ever been that emotional in a marathon. So massive credit to him. He didn't kind of hit the time that he wanted, but ran a bit more of a measured race, I think, than what I did. So yeah, massive thanks to him for probably that last K and a half, because I would have gone a lot slower or not been as happy with the result as what I was. So but yeah, as I said, everyone that helped out on that day was just made it way better than probably what it would have been in my head if I didn't have that. So that for me is what running in the community is about. So it's really cool.
I think everyone got to give back like a tiny bit compared to what you commit to everyone else. So yeah,
I think everyone does it. It's the best part about having the group, I think.
Yeah. That part when you fell off, similar to when I fell off, how do you break that down? Because I feel like that can be pretty crushing. It's really, really tough once you start to slow down. And like you said, you're not slowing down like crazy amount, but it's enough to be like, well, I've sort of thrown out a certain time.
Yeah.
And then couple that with feeling like at the worst point physically. Yeah. How do you break that down?
Yeah. So I think I got to like, I went through halfway at like 77:40 or 77:50 or something. So I was probably only like 10 or 15 seconds behind where I wanted to be for that 2:35. And And then probably to like 29K, I reckon I was still on like 236 pace. I had all the 5K splits written down on my arm, but they'd kind of rubbed off at that point, and I can't do maths. So um, once you start slowing down, you're kind of just looking at like I've turned off K splits on my watch for ages, and I've kind of just been working off like heart rate and average pace, so total average pace. So I was kind of just gauging off that roughly what time I think I was going to come in at. And obviously that kept getting slower and slower as I slowed down. But I didn't really realize probably until the last K how close I actually was to getting a PB. And I think if I had have realized that a little bit earlier on, maybe I would have had a little bit of extra motivation or something to kind of keep going. And looking at the splits, I think when you were running with me, Luke, at 39K, if I had been able to get back down to like 4-minute K pace at that point, I would have run a PB. So yeah, I mean, the difference wasn't that big, but I just think not really focusing on that. I was kind of just focused on getting to like the next person that I knew, which at that point was, Anna and Simon at 28, 29K, and then you and Brie at like 33, 34K. And it was kind of just like, don't walk, because when I did Berlin last year, I hit about the same point and started falling to pieces again. But that had a few other issues going on with it. And I walked a couple of times in Berlin. So at that point, I was kind of just reasoning with myself to not walk, which didn't end up happening. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, I mean, I've said it a couple of times as well, but in hindsight, it's the second fastest time I've run in the marathon. So it just didn't go where I wanted it to go on the day. But, I'm not injured. I'm still healthy afterwards. And yeah, looking back on all those things, I think I probably wouldn't change it. Could I have gone out more conservatively at 240, because I've tried to break it 4 times now and haven't got it. Probably would I have got it? Don't know. So I think that's a rabbit hole to go down or not to go down. But yeah, I think I was in shape for 235. A lot of the training pointed towards that. So I'm pretty happy with how I ran. I don't think I'd change that if I went back and did it again. So, yeah.
Would you still target 235 for the next one, or would you set your size?
I think, well, it depends. It would depend when the next training block is and what the next race is. But, unless I'm feeling considerably fitter than what I currently am, to be honest, I think I would just target 240 and try and run a strong race. I've said it to a few other people that, the marathon's kind of won the last few times as well. And I think it's just time to get one on the board, get under that mental marker of 240 that it's turning into at the moment, and then go from there. There's plenty of time left, and hopefully plenty of marathons left to run faster. So yeah, I think I would just target a pace and hopefully it feels comfortable and sticks on the day. So
is this for Melbourne this year?
We'll come back to that.
That's fair enough. All good. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for that recap. And obviously it was good to see you out there, and definitely we're in shape. I think just sometimes, it just doesn't 100% go to plan, but the foundation is there, which is the main thing.
Yep.
And it was hot. I feel like I don't know. Do you feel, because some people had crackers as well?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think from what I saw, like everyone that either ran consistently or kind of negative split, maybe had a target pace in mind. I look at Josh Keys, and I know he was targeting 240, but I think he adjusted that prior to the race. There was another guy from Delta, runs kind of solo a little bit, but has had a really good last few months, and Ben, and he was originally going to be running with us in the 235, and we'd had a few conversations in the lead up to the race, and I was chatting to him, I think the day before or a couple of days before, and he said he was going to adjust himself to go out at 240 and then try and finish strong He absolutely charged past me at 36, 37K, and I think ended up running like 236 or 237. So yeah, I think everyone that played into it was warm, but it wasn't overly warm. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 degrees hotter than ideal conditions. But yeah, I think everyone that yeah was maybe a touch more conservative for the first half was able to at least hold or finish pretty strong. So yeah, again, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but that's what it is. So
Yeah. No, fair enough. I guess we'll probably talk about some of the other performances a bit later, but Adrian, how did your race go? And I guess what were you thinking in the few days before as well?
Yeah, I probably should preface with that. I had sort of a rough goal in mind of some 4 hours. I wasn't certain if I was going to hit it, and I was like, if I'm 10, 15 minutes off, I'm okay with that. But I was kind of aiming for that sub 4 to start with. Um, in the few days before, um, look, I'm pretty good at controlling like my emotions, anxiety, and stuff like that. So keep myself distracted and talking to people and everything. And just kind of like, I know it sounds cliche, but like living in the moment. So just enjoying everything that's happening around. There's this massive running community and we're all there doing the same thing of wanting to run a good race and just, enjoying each other's company and having a great weekend, especially for most of us being, away from home in a beautiful place like the Gold Coast. So, um, I think a lot of it was just trying to enjoy every other part of the weekend as well, and not just the marathon. So I think that really helped just sort of keep everything at bay. Um, one thing that I struggle with, which I've never really done to this extent before, was the amount of carb loading that I had to do. Um,
Yeah, I remember the
um,
days leading in.
oh my word. So, yeah, I've never had the carb load to this extent before. Like I've done multiple halves and I've just kind of carb loaded like the night before and like, that's been fine for me. Um, but for the Mara having the carb load like a full 2 days before, my body didn't know what hit it. So I felt really bloated, and at times nauseous, just trying to force the food down to really just try and pump the carbs up. Um, so I think it was a bit more of a physical barrier in that regard, just trying to get all the carbs in than it was mental at that stage. Um, yeah, so actually I didn't feel too bad. I just wanted to basically finish the marathon was my very first goal. So anything other than that was kind of a bonus if I ran well, and if not, then so be it. Um, yeah, then for the Mara itself, so I was kind of aiming for about the 540 per K to kind of get just under 4 hours. And for the first 20 Ks, I was pretty much smack bang on plus minus a few seconds here and there for each K. Um, I actually felt quite good. Um, like I normally sit with a higher heart rate when I run anyway. So for me, I was kind of sitting around like the 185, 190 sort of area, but I didn't feel like I know
All
it's
right.
wild to a lot of people. But like my max is like 213, like with a sprint. So for me, being a little bit unfit, but then like also having a higher heart rate, for me, that was like manageable. I was like, if I can keep it kind of under 190, I wasn't breathing too hard. I know, still blow some people's minds, but um, but yeah, yeah, but like I actually felt pretty good. Like I felt like I was breathing a little hard, but nothing that like I couldn't deal with at the time. I was really just focusing on keeping my breathing nice and controlled, driving that oxygen in, like really nasal breathing and all the rest of it. And that helped heaps. I was doing that for probably 5 to 10 Ks sort of before I dropped off, which I'll get to in a sec. But like that really just kept my heart rate nice and steady. Um, so I was actually quite happy with that. Um, and then yeah, kind of got close to the 20K mark and um, I was still feeling good cardiovascular wise, like my breathing and my heart rate and stuff like that was still quite steady. But I started feeling like my lower back on either side of my spine kind of getting like a bit swollen. And I was like, this is a little bit odd, like never really happened whilst running before. But I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just, because I've been running for a while, like that's fine. And then basically just pretty much crossed over the 20K mark, and my back in the meantime become so inflamed that it's basically started compressing the nerve. Um, so I actually lost feeling from the knees down and was getting shooting pain into like the buttocks and the upper legs. Um, and I was like, well, this is far from ideal.
So I shouldn't
So
laugh. It's probably the
no,
worst time
no,
to laugh.
no, no, it's fine. So it was more that it just took me by surprise. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but I also knew that running another 22 Ks, like trying to push through that was just actually going to cause a lot of unnecessary damage. Um, so um, basically, with a bit of self-preservation in mind, I just had to ease right off, and basically for the next 22 Ks did a mixture of jogging, running, and walking. Um, just basically trying to mitigate as much of the swelling as I could, and then just powering through 250 meters, 500 meters at a time, and just trying to push through. Um, which was a little bit, for lack of a better word, depressing, because I still felt quite okay. But just the body was given out, unfortunately, and not a part of the body that I thought was going to be the case. Um, yeah, so I just had to kind of persevere. As I said at the beginning, like I was going to finish this whether whether anyone liked it or not, or whether my body liked it or not. So that was once my back gave way, that was basically it. As long as I finish under that cutoff time of whatever it is, 6 hours 20 or 6 hours 30, whatever it is, I was like, as long as I finish under that, um, I'm okay with that. Um, but I knew that I'd run quite well for basically the first half of it. So I knew I had a bit of a buffer zone, and I was like, as long as I can try to keep jogging here and there, I can at least get, for myself anyway, a fairly respectable time for a first marathon. So, um, yeah. One thing that you mentioned as well, Chris, was just all the people supporting on the sideline.
Mm.
Like even people that didn't know you from Borough Soap. Like it was just phenomenal. I've never like I've done a few races, not as many as you boys, but I've done a fair few races, and I've never experienced anything like it. It was
Yeah.
just next level. The amount of support for the people, like, even during the half and the other races as well, but just when I was running, it just really lifted me.
Mhm.
Um, every time there was like a tap here for speed boost, I'd like go out of my way to tap those signs, even though I'd
Yeah.
probably cut in front of about five people doing so. Um, but for me, it was just, yeah, helping me push through and stuff like that. And even though I felt like garbage in the second half of it, it really just kind of helped keep me motivated to do it and help me push through. So, um, yeah, one thing that kind of also made me laugh and helped me push through was I forgot that my nickname for my running nickname was on my bib for the race. So um, at about the 18K mark, a bit before I blew up, I had some random person yell out, "Go the Gazelle." And I kind of looked around and I was like, who the hell's calling me the Gazelle? And then realized it was on my bib. Um, and that made me chuckle a bit. So, and then yeah, a lot of people from there on out who, yeah, didn't know me at all were just also yelling the same thing. Obviously, I saw a few guys at the 7K mark, and I looked a lot better than, many, many Ks down the track. But yeah, it was a phenomenal experience, regardless of how I felt physically. It was really, really a good experience. Um, there was even like a physio on course who saw me like clutching at my back and, waddling like a penguin basically. And, he gave me some cream to kind of help like reduce the inflammation and stuff on my back and tried to help me, get through the rest of the race. And that was at like the 32K mark. So I still had, 10 Ks to go, and it yeah, the community is just incredible. It really is incredible. Um, so I really, really enjoyed that aspect. And I really did try to live in the moment like I was doing for the rest of the weekend. And I was like, well, you feel like crap, but hey, you're doing the marathon. There's a lot of great people around you. Let's just get it done. Um, so yeah, my splits dropped off massively after the 20K, but I kind of just kept persevering. And then the last, I think, was it 4 odd Ks. Luke and Dom, you guys joined me for the
I was
last
gonna
of
say, if I don't get a mention, this is this is wild.
Uh,
I won't lie, the last 5 minutes I was like, is he gonna mention it?
Cut the call.
we know you have to be the center of attention. It's okay.
That's a bit rich.
Yeah, but no. Look, look, there was heaps of people that supported me throughout, and then like when I was really really struggling at the end, the sun had come out. It was God knows what temperature it was at that
It
point.
was pretty
It was
warm by
sunny
that
at
point.
It was
It was
really,
very
really
hot.
warm. I was like over 4.5 hours in,
Yeah.
on the
Long,
road.
long time on feet too by that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
it was massive. Like I basically could barely bend at the knee, let alone, even run when it came to the back. So, um, yeah, just it really, really helped. Just, having you guys at the end to just help me through. Um, Fortunately, but unfortunately, being medically minded, all of the stuff came up like getting palpitations. I was like, oh God damn it, here goes the heart. Like, I'm gonna be that one that drops. Like,
He goes
So
hard.
I kind of got into my head a bit throughout the race. I can't help it. Sometimes I just overthink it.
That's fair enough.
But it's also the first marathon. I'm running it by myself for 42 Ks. You're gonna get into your head a little bit at some point. And so that was my sort of kryptonite per se in regards to the mental game. But um, yeah, no, the last 4 Ks you guys kind of helped me push through. I was able to kind of jog at least for the most part of it, with intermittent cramping and stuff like that. So it was good. It was good, and nothing beats crossing the finish line, even if you didn't do your pace. Like just the fact that you finished it, and you gave it all you had on the day, even if things didn't work out. So, um, when I looked at my time, I was like, wow, this is an hour more than I was hoping. But I was just happy to be crossing the finish line. So, that was a really, really good experience. Yeah.
I gotta
Did you?
say,
Mm.
oh sorry, go on, Chris.
No, you go, Luke.
Mm.
You go.
I was just gonna have a dig, so let's just leave it.
For something different.
I was going to ask if you've opened the Runkeeper app and if you've got that badge.
Oh,
Yeah.
good question. I can confirm that I have, and the badge is there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A
Perfect.
year-long
did-
battle with Run
I did
Keeper.
have I had a big celebration with myself over that. That was
I rate
that
that.
was very
That's really cool.
Yeah, look, for me, it was really good. Yeah, I finally ticked it off, so I was quite happy with that. So yeah.
I
What were you
won't
gonna
lie.
say, Luke?
I was gonna say it's obviously a incredible effort to finish the marathon. Given like I looked at your training. I looked at Strava, and yeah, I don't know. I just thought obviously you've had you had those challenges which you were outlining. And you're not like given you haven't put your body through doing the half is one thing, but like doing a lot, obviously double the distance when your body's not being put under that in training, it's like you just don't know what's going to happen. And obviously, your back had issues, but to like persevere through the back part of that is massive because you had a lot of, well, I know you said, there was no way you weren't going to finish, but to be fair, like if your body's just completely cooked, it would make sense to pull the pin. So I think it was a good
Mm.
a good display of perseverance. So
Yep.
should be proud of yourself and but that's the nicest thing I'll say for the next 20 years.
I know that's why I'm a bit baffled.
You could have left it without
I'm
that.
glad
It
this
would
is
have been really nice.
recorded because
For people that don't know, I've been friends with Adrian since kindergarten, and that's the nicest thing I've ever said. So it's a big moment.
yeah, 25 years later,
And that's the last of it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
last
another
of it.
25 years it'll take before something else
Oh,
comes
dear.
out. Well, look, as rare as a nice comment of you like that you make, I appreciate this nice comment nonetheless. Look, the thought did cross my mind like it would anybody in that situation. Like, should I just stop? Like, is it worth pushing through the last, half of the race and all the rest of it? But yeah, as I said, I'm quite stubborn and yeah, I don't like to back down from a challenge, whether it's within my realm or not. So yeah, I just kept pushing through,
So
whatever the outcome was.
if you did another one, would you do a training block?
I think realistically, if I was gonna do like a proper training block, I'd probably need to get someone to do one for me.
Yeah, fair.
I think whilst I have a little bit of knowledge in running, I don't think I have anywhere near enough experience or knowledge to do like a proper training block, especially one catered to my lifestyle and all the rest of it. Um, so, I think I need to get someone to help me with that. But I'm definitely not opposed to doing a proper training block. It would just need to be specifically catered for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Dom, how was obviously you had a cracker in the half. How did the race go and talk us
Um,
through some of the challenges that you had in the
yeah,
race?
pretty different marathon. I remember just watching the marathon, like compared to watching the half. There's just like so much more carnage. Like Adrian said,
Oh
he's
yeah.
medically minded and that he was cautious of going down, but I don't know. There were just so many people
Mm.
lying on the side of the road who getting medical attention and stuff like that. So I think it was a pretty valid concern, really. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the half, anyways, was pretty good. The carb load, I actually yeah loaded up quite a lot, which is a bit different to other races, and I think that kind of probably helped quite a bit. Like I think maybe in the past I just haven't been fueling races properly, and I think it's yeah actually pretty important to put a little bit of emphasis on that. But I had like a whole bag of snakes the day before, and then a couple of good meals and bananas and stuff. So yeah, I was ready to go. But maybe a little too ready to go. The last, yeah, I think I got up. I should have got up a little bit earlier. Had a coffee. There probably just wasn't enough time with that much carbs, and the coffee and everything. So yeah, it got to like. Yeah, and then again on the start line, I was thinking like, oh, I'll probably just try and go sub 75 and beat my Newcastle time, given that
Mm.
like I was a bit sick in the lead up, and even still, like my training had not been amazing. Like I felt like I was probably more in shape to run like 73 something, like just under 74. So that was kind of like the A goal was just under 74. Um, then getting sick in that, the goal kind of changed to under 75. Um, and yeah, I just didn't have like a ton of confidence, I guess, that I could go out there and have a good race. But then, I don't know, on the start line, like the gun goes off and I was up in the group of girls who were kind of like the leadish kind of girls. And they were all going sub 70 pace, like 320s. So I just ended up sticking with them for a bit. And yeah, like yeah, I ran a couple of Ks and was like, oh, this doesn't feel too bad. Like I'll just try and sit on this. Like I'm here at the Gold Coast now. It's a flat course. The weather's good. There's a really good group of people to run with. Like you don't get this opportunity very often. So I just sat in the group. Didn't do any work. I think I led like maybe 1K out of 10Ks. Um, and got to 10K in I think it was like maybe maybe just under 34 or 34 minutes, which is pretty good and still felt
Mm.
like okay. I was starting to drift a bit back then. And then I fell off kind of like just shortly after that and was just running on my own or with like one other person trying to just catch on to them and stick to them as much as possible. Then got to like, I don't know, maybe 16 Ks and could feel like, yeah, I need to use the bathroom. So I tried to just keep going and then it's yeah, the urge just kind of got stronger and stronger and it got to 18 Ks and there was a portaloo, so I quickly decided like I had three options. So option one is to slow down and try and hold it in, which meant that I'd like have to run quite a bit slower. I was already slowing down to like 340 per K sort of pace. Option
Mm.
two was to um, run and use the Portaloo and try and pick up the pace and run quicker for the next little bit. And then option 3 was to myself. I didn't want to run a PB that bad, so but yeah, ran to the Portaloo, did a quick one and finished it off, and yeah, ran pretty good, which was good.
What did you lap? Did you lap on your watch? Oh,
Yeah.
you got there. You got it there.
He's got the speed.
49 seconds.
49 seconds.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I reckon you can get that.
That's actually very
split
impressive.
down. No, that is very impressive. Wait,
Yeah.
so it's a PB.
Actually, no,
PB.
sorry.
PB.
It was
It's a PB.
he was 25 or something.
there was actually a double split. So you split for 49 seconds, which maybe is a little bit of like jogging off the course towards the bathroom potentially.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
there's
made the decision. Okay, like
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another split for 21 seconds. So in total,
Whoa.
1 minute and 10 seconds. And your pace for that 21 seconds was 2 hours and 17 minutes per kilometer. just for reference.
So taking Adrian's watch at the end there.
There it is.
Yeah, it's back. He's back.
It's back.
It's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
Good stats. Yeah.
That's a PB. That's a PB.
That's-
PB.
That's a
PB.
PB. You minus your shit break. That's a PB for sure. Like all that.
But,
You have to send an email to Gold Coast to amend that time.
have, like, time in front of the Portaloos. But,
What's that?
it does mats in front of the Portaloos.
True.
But, no, it was good. Yeah, happy with that. And yeah, it was kind of annoying though. Like it's happened a few times in training before. Like early in the morning, I wake up and run straight to training, then have to go to the bathroom. So I was kind of well prepared for it. Yeah, but it is what it is. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a deal breaker. I think I made the right choice in the end.
Yeah, option 3 sounded pretty bleak, to be honest.
I was really like dead set on running a PB. Like sure, maybe, but
I don't think it's ever worth it. Just
Would you
Just
even be
quietly.
able to, like, wouldn't that just slow you down?
I think you just have to really like not, and you have to be that bad. Like,
Yeah, I don't
you're
know.
going for the win, or like if there was a win on the line, would you do it? I don't know.
I just don't know if we're probably lingering a little bit too much on this, but
unlike something else.
I
Cut that one out.
don't know. But I don't know if you could execute it well enough for it to, like, you'd surely slow down. That's the thing.
Mm.
I don't know, with only 3Ks left. 3Ks, right? You only have 3Ks left?
There was only 3Ks left.
Yeah.
It's still,
I think
10,
if you
10,
wanted
10
bad
minutes
enough
of
with-
running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with only 3Ks at that pace, I think if you wanted it desperately enough, you could do it.
Would you do it, Adrian?
Look, I'm not saying I condone it, but look, if I was desperate enough for the race, then yeah, I would. But it wouldn't be my first option.
You wouldn't be
Right.
coming back to the cabin we were staying at, but anyway.
I think if it was all of a few seconds between like doing it and not doing it, and it's something I really, really had trained for and wanted to, I'd probably take the risk and just hope it didn't happen. But it would not be obviously something that I strive for.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on, guys.
I think as
Oh,
well,
no,
if you've done that a few times in training, you're pretty confident you can get it done quickly. So I think to get it done in 70 seconds, that's very impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah,
Impressive.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you.
I have one question for Dom actually. So did you have a conversation with Matt Gore about kind of target paces and stuff like that, or what you think you might go into the race targeting?
Yeah, I was keeping him in the loop, like saying like, oh, this is how I'm feeling. Like started off at the beginning of the training block, I was thinking, oh yeah, probably try and run like a 73 or something. And then throughout the training block, thinking like, oh, maybe 74, and then got sick and was like, I think maybe 75's the right move. And
Yeah.
he was pretty supportive of whatever I wanted to do. Like he didn't really push anything, even though
Mhm.
it sounds like he might have been having conversations behind my back or something.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt like, yeah, he was backing me with whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like he didn't care too much about the time. It was more just about getting a good effort in and
Yeah.
feeling like you ran to the best of your ability. Like
Yeah.
I think even if
I
I
think
went
that's what everyone.
5 minute pace, I probably would have closed a lot faster and
Yeah.
still like something decent. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was just having a good run was the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the best part about it. Like get rid of time and just run it off effort. And if that's all you could have done on the day, and you had nothing left at the finish line, then
Yeah.
that's the best thing.
Like how much weight we put on running certain times.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. At the same point, like that's kind of the goal of running.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, you do put a bit of time into it, but yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, 3 good recaps.
How was the half with Bree?
Yeah, it was
Surely she
good,
gets
I
a
think.
recap in this.
Yeah. Well, Chris, now you're obviously taking on some coaching duties, but yeah, it was good. I think we decided to go out about 1:28:30 pace. Breeze training was looking solid. There was quite a lot of consistency there for the last, I think, between 6 to 8 weeks, which is good. And sessions were indicating that was about right. But I guess it really depends. Like it's hard to determine your half pace. I feel like half pace is a little bit awkward because it's still quite fast, but it's also a long time at that higher intensity. So
Yeah.
I feel like in training, if you do 8 to 10 minute reps, for example, threshold reps at your half pace, you can be left feeling pretty good and confident, even with that little bit of rest. And then when you get there, sometimes obviously running past 60 minutes, it's a bit different. But we decided, yeah, Bree decided that she wanted to have a crack at that pace, which is 4:12s. So I pretty much just held that pace. And yeah, we were on track up until probably about 13, 14K. And then I think it was just that little bit too quick. And then I think in the half, if you're burning quite a lot, it's really hard to recover after that. Like it's hard to um it's hard to control the blow up and you start to hurt quite a lot, I find. And it's a different experience when you're pacing because you really are able to observe what's going on as opposed to you kind of just if it happens to you, you're just in survival mode.
Yep.
So fell off a little bit early, but I think the way Bree was able to sort of just like put her head down and persevere for like, it's a long 6, 7 kilometers. So, yeah, it was a tough back section of the race, but I think it's really impressive to be able to continue to persevere when you're breathing hard. You're pretty much maxing
Yep.
at the end there, and like it's just certainly yeah, it's quite painful. Like it's quite intense to push for that long. So props to Bree and yeah, on to I think it was 90:30, which is good. And yeah, just puts her in a strong position to have another crack at the next half. And obviously Chris is I'm not sure if yeah, well now it's public, I guess. But Chris is coaching, and I think Bree will have a crack at. Actually, I don't think we decided, but yeah, I'll leave that off. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Like it was a really solid effort. I think
Was
you've probably what's that?
that a PB or?
Yes, yeah, it was a PB.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, which is good. I think it was just the expectation. Well, it's kind of we've set off at that pace, so like it was it was great to run a PB and stuff like that, but I think that's the problem with setting that expectation as a little bit quicker is
Yeah.
you're left feeling a bit disappointed when you might not necessarily have to be feeling disappointed, to be honest. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And it was a solid effort. And yeah, um, I think I don't know if my pacing at the end there was was okay because it's hard to because you don't want to at the end there you don't want to push too much. So I was just trying to um stay next to Brie and but yeah, it was good. It was good.
Hmm.
Um,
She still did really well. She should be
yeah,
proud,
Yeah,
yeah,
regardless.
definitely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, I think probably some run of the day nominations. Anyone? What do you reckon?
Mm.
I've got some noted down. Chris, what do you what what do you think? It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
mean,
pick. There were so many good results, and it's hard to
yeah,
pick.
I mean, there was some fantastic results over both days, really. I think some ones for the Mara that stood out to me, like obviously Josh Keys ran brilliantly. Rosie, obviously the massive negative split that she ran. I think she ran I can't remember what I noted down, like a 125 half and then a 121 second half. So she kicked home pretty hard. Obviously the mostly Delta results. Yeah, Ben, the guy that I mentioned before, his negative split was exactly what he said he was going to set out and do. Yeah, Alex Shaw, who's just so consistently ticking off PBs, seemingly like year after year in the Mara. He's kind of getting down to that. He ran sub 225, which
Crazy.
I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he was like 220, 229, 228 up there. So,
Wow.
even a 226 high, I think last year in Melbourne. So he's taken a couple of minutes off that. Yeah, he's just if you go and look at his Strava, he's just so consistent. And yeah, obviously that pays off. Who else? I think Ji Sheng ran brilliantly in the Mara. I know she was probably targeting a touch quicker, but I think she was had a really good day for what it was. Who else? Yeah, they're probably my top ones for the Mara. I think the half, yeah, again, like obviously Sammy running brilliantly. Dom, I think you had a cracking race.
Chris,
Yeah, sorry.
thanks, mate.
Yeah, I think yeah, just watching you I think I saw you at kind of 12 or 13K. You were still in a pack of like 4 or 5 people at that point, and you like exactly like you said, you were just tucked into the back and yeah, looking pretty strong at that point. So yeah, I mean Georgie ran brilliantly. I think that was a 3-minute PB. Anna ran a couple minute PB. Who else in the half? Jeet, like he came out with us on the Sunday night. He's one of the most consistent half marathon runners that I've ever known. He's just always around that like 75, 76, 77 mark. I don't know how many he's run, but he'd be up in the 20s, I reckon, of that many performances. So Lockie Oaks, I think, ran pretty well for what he kind of sandbagged a little bit potentially, but yeah, ran really, really well. Who else was there? I'm trying to think who else was in half. Yeah, obviously Bree probably didn't have the day that she wanted, but I think coming away with a PB and yeah, still, as you said, still being able to finish the way that she did was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, even seeing like Helena and Jose, a couple of other people that I coach, it was the training blocks for them probably hadn't gone the way that they wanted. And I think remembering where I was at on Sunday, and they were probably the two people that I thought of the most when I was starting to hurt, because I kind of saw them at that 15, 16, 17K mark, and they just had their heads down and again, not the results that they wanted. But I think sometimes that's the more inspiring running, when you can kind of just push through that last 4 or 5Ks, even though things are not going the way that you want them to go. So yeah, I think that were probably the standouts for me. It's a bit of a long list, but
What
I think
about
you covered it, Chris.
Freddie Fraser?
oh, with his croissants.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the deal with that?
I got a good video of that. They were
It's hilarious.
yeah. So I don't really know what the discussion was, but I don't know if he'd done much nutrition in his previous Mara when he did Sydney, and there was kind of discussion over what his plan was going to be for this, and he didn't really have one. So him and his partner Ruth, who was staying with us at some point, settled on croissants being the nutrition of choice. And like there was a video of him, I can't remember who got it, maybe Georgie, of him running past them at the kind of 22, 23K mark, and then doing, the handoff of the croissant. And I've got a video of them on my phone on the Saturday night. They were practicing. He was running up and down the hallway, and she was holding the croissant in different ways to, how they're going to practice it. And it was brilliant. Like, just, I love seeing that video, because it's like, running in general, but the marathon can be so serious, and everyone's, really, really determined and focused. And then you've got Scott like bounding along, running down, and Ruth's there like holding a croissant out and grabs it. And then I think I don't even know if he ate the whole thing. I think he ran with it for like the whole second half, basically, with his croissant. And I'm just imagining in my head, like, obviously with the sweat, you've just got this disintegrating croissant in your hand by the end of it. Yeah, it was brilliant. So fantastic nutrition. I think he's doing Sydney maybe. So they were discussing what the next nutrition was going to be. So interested to see what that looks like.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, that's there was so many strong performances. But yeah,
What's your list?
What's that?
What was you said you had a list?
Yeah, I did, but you covered them all.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, how many people in Delta were out there? Do you know, Chris?
I think in the results we had like 73 by the end of it. I ended up missing a couple in the
73.
initial results, but yeah, I think it was around 73. So
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
pretty big. And yeah, as I said, you get half of those people on Saturday either racing or supporting, and then the other half flip over, and there's people everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Insane.
Sam Clifford.
Oh, of
Oh yeah,
course.
yeah, the
Yeah.
double up.
That was
Double up.
wild.
When I saw him pacing on Sunday,
I was like, because we saw him at obviously he ran a great time in the half, and then we saw him on the Sunday as we at the 7K mark, and I didn't know he was doing that, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's like Sam running, and yeah, he paced
65
minutes.
through the half, which is like,
Nuts.
I mean, in perspective, probably for Dom, like that's you running your 72-40 something, and then backing up the next day and running a 75-76.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
just like your hardest effort, and then backing up the next day and running a few minutes slower.
It's wild.
That's wild.
Yeah, insane.
It's gonna run in Sydney, isn't he?
Yeah, debut.
Should be
That'll be
awesome.
yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, I think he was saying his mileage is creeping up now.
Yeah, so I think he did a variation of the session today. I think it was like 2x3K, 2x2K, 2x1K. So basically double what everyone else did. So yeah. Yeah.
As you do.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
And I guess last probably thing to end on, how did we find the post-race party?
Other than injuring myself, it was good.
Anyway, people won't. Yeah,
quick recap. Less said the better.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah, go on, Chris.
Oh, no, probably similar. I think it was a great way to end the weekend. We did a similar thing last year. So it was good to continue that tradition. Yeah, I think we're all pretty well behaved.
Yeah, that's all we'll say.
Yeah. The
And
Shark Tank drinks were great.
the ridiculous drink.
Yeah.
that was a good place. That very good place. Those people were really nice to us. So it was
Yeah,
good.
they
Yeah.
were. They were. I think we were a bit rowdy and
We were a little bit rowdy.
but controlled and
Just marginally.
Yeah.
But they closed at 9
Yeah.
o'clock or something.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
Sunday night, I guess.
Oh yeah,
And then
true.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, true.
People should be
Still
going to
too
bed.
early. Still too early. Nah.
Yeah, true. They're like, oh God, bring the degenerates out.
They weren't wrong.
Anyway, Dom, do you have anything else you want to cover off or?
I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the next races we've already touched on, I think.
Yep.
Mm.
You got some 80, Dom.
So maybe,
Chris. Oh, Chris.
Uh-oh.
Almost got away with it.
Will I see you at Melbourne running?
Yeah, we're probably
Oh,
going to
yes.
be staying together, so you'll see me. For
But
something.
race plan?
Yeah. Look, overall race plan at the moment is not to race it. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm doing, a lot of pacing, yeah, Sydney Harbour 10 this weekend, a couple of races coming up will be City to Surf, targeting a half marathon, which will probably be Western Sydney at the end of September. I'll try and pace, I think, the Athletics New South Wales one that hopefully we've landed on with Bree. And then, yeah, I think racing Western Sydney 2 weeks before Melbourne will kind of keep me in check for what I do in Melbourne. And yeah, unless I feel like I'm in way better shape than what I was in Gold Coast, I think I will be. I've kind of had this conversation with someone already, but I'll be more than happy to pace, and I think that'll bring me a lot more happiness than racing a marathon will. So I'm gonna stick with that.
Sounds good.
Fair enough.
Well, couldn't persuade you. Oh.
Not yet. I've tried twice with you, so it's only fair.
Yeah, true. Adrian, do you have any, I know you've touched on it briefly, but anything?
Yeah, look, no specific race per se. Yeah, just kind of the sub 40 10K.
Yep.
So basically once I kind of feel like I'm close, then I'll kind of choose a particular race to then aim for. I know kind of like the Sydney 10 and Sydney Harbour 10 are kind of around like the June, July sort of period. But I'll be overseas next year around that time. So I kind of just have to see if there's any other races that are kind of, maybe a little bit, sort of close to them, but either a bit before or a bit after type thing, and sort of just see if that's something I can do. I know it's a year away, but yeah, I think I might do some other races in between, but I think in regards to sort of hitting a PB and whatnot, I think that's kind of the next sort of big one. Yeah.
Dom, were you
Yeah.
going to ask something?
Oh, there's one like the Sydney 10s on Smitty's birthday, usually, like around then.
Oh, okay. Early May. Yeah.
It's probably the best one to go for.
That actually sounds quite good. Yeah. Yeah. But that'll be the loose goal then. And then, yeah, if the body's holding up well and I've been able to train strong enough I mean, look, I've got to cut down a lot of time based off where my fitness is currently. So, yeah. So it'll basically from now will be a lot of sort of training specifically for that. I do have a friend also trying to rope me into a triathlon as well.
No, don't do
Which
that.
yeah, which would be interesting. So wants to start with the Olympic one, sort of 40.3 or whatever it is. So that's kind of another sort of potential thing I might do within the year as well. I've never done a triathlon, a full triathlon, so it'll be interesting to try that. But I think
It's
for a
not that
serious
interesting.
Just don't cramp.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, I'll just tell my legs. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, poor Chris.
Yeah, look, I think in regards to like a serious race, I think the 10K is definitely the next one on my list to do. I think kind of any other races in between would just be more for like a fun or like an experience type thing. So yeah, yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about covers it. So Thanks guys for jumping on and recapping the race.
Mm.
It's good to catch up and yeah, that's all I got. So
Good luck on Saturday, Dom.
yeah,
Yeah. Good luck, Dom.
do well,
Yeah.
Dom.
I
And
think
thank you, Chiefs, for having us on.
Yeah, thank you again.
And congratulations on the
Yeah.
marathon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Well done, Adrian.
Yeah. Likewise. Yeah. Thank you.
See you
Yeah.
guys.
Catch you, Chiefs.